Okay, guys.
I'm about to clean the bedroom that I've inhabited for 17 years, and now that I'm moving out into my RV for the next few months, it has a chance at actually staying clean. Now, I was initially hesitant to use the KonMari method due to the fact that the name sounded like an ancient religion and I wasn't sure I wanted to welcome those spirits into my house. But after some research, I concluded that my soul indeed would be safe if I took all the clothes I own and threw them on the floor in the middle of my bedroom. At this point, I strongly considered quitting because the pile was just too big and daunting.
Now it's smaller. Less daunting.
By the way, that pile was mostly just the clothes from my brother's closet. I hadn't even started on my closet yet.
A DIY hack. Turn all your old clothes into a throne. Don't do that, actually, because you could end up being painful. Here goes nothing. Oh! Dang it. Oh, gosh. Sorry. Now, being a DIYist seamstress leads to a lot of hoarder tendencies. Some are helpful.
For instance, when I'm struck by a sudden bout of creativity, I find no shortage of materials to utilize. So I began by dividing my valuables into the typical KonMari piles, which are keep, donate, and throw away. But then I also added a fourth pile, which I like to call the chopping block, where I threw anything with large amounts of usable fabric that I could hack into something else, as well as clothes that I planned to donate but that were ripped or otherwise damaged, and I planned to fix them before donating. Wow, look at the size of that pile, will ya? That's what my great-grandma said after every time she took a dump. Just kidding, I don't know anything that my great-grandma said. She died when I was really little. And I remember her funeral dinner was the first time I was exposed to Colby Jack cheese, and boy were my eyes open. That stuff was so good. Okay, going back through this edit, I realize every time I do a voiceover right after drinking a cup of coffee, it ends up being really obnoxious and irrelevant, so sorry.
I finally cleared up enough space to bring in more. Let's do a little time capsule episode. Whatever is in this purse was my life when I was, let's see, this one was 14 years old. A sunflower hair clip. I'm gonna keep that. A lanyard. Oil pastels. No sketchbook, mind you. All I really want to find is money. Oh look, it's a little glasses stem, handle, ear lasso, ear hanger. What are these called? I can't donate it till I know what it's called. I'm not donating. Who would want this? I'm hearing money. Bow, bow, bow. This is the whole reason I started cleaning in the first place. I actually ended up finding a lot of dollars, so I'm going to put all but one in the pockets of all the pants that I'm donating, because there is nothing better than the feeling when you get a pair of pants from a thrift store and you find money in the pocket. Okay, so I actually just got carried away and ended up putting all the dollars in and then going and finding more dollars and putting them in more pants.
By far, the hardest treasures to part with were the ones that I made, but I reasoned with myself that I liked the idea of somebody else wearing an outfit I made, and they can only bring me joy for so long, so why not get rid of them, bring someone else joy, and incentivize myself to make more clothes to fill my closet with.
The other thing that's a big struggle to get rid of is certain sentimental items. So, in a way to eternalize them through the internet, I'm going to show you right now. This says main attraction director. Main attraction was the baton corps that my mother started that I was in for 17 years, and I was never the director. But I got really emotional about this and wanted to keep it to commemorate my baton days. But I hated baton. I hate being a female. I don't understand my emotions. Why do I have them? This matching shorts and leg warmers set. I was truly obsessed with these when I was 12. I no longer have the butt of a 12-year-old. Well, I do, but not of me when I was 12, because the butt I had when I was 12 was the butt of a 9-year-old, so moved up from that. This is a prom dress that I made earlier this year. I'm actually not going to get rid of that because I want to be able to continue to loan it out like I did earlier this year. This is a hospital gown. I think I may have worn this when I pretended to give birth to a duck. If not this one, then I have multiple hospital gowns and I have no idea why.
Congratulations, Miss Tewers.
So that's really sentimental. This is a shirt I was supposed to decorate for an event, and I thought swishing around grape juice in my mouth and then spitting on the shirt would make a really cool design, and then it turned into basically like dried blood splatter, so it could intimidate people. I don't love this shirt, it doesn't do much for me, but this is what I was wearing when I jumped on a moving train and eventually jumped off a moving train. So funerals have always been a big part of my life. That maybe sounded a little weird. Understand this, I'm the youngest in my immediate and extended family. My parents are kind of old, their friends are pretty old, and in general, I feel like I've just known a lot of people with sickness. You know what, I don't actually have to explain why I go to so many funerals, but on average, I go to 2 or 3 a year. However, there was this one year, story time. In the middle of 2013, I got this dress. I fell in love with it, I thought it was beautiful. In 2014, January to be exact, I wore this for the first time to a funeral. That year, this was the only black dress I had.
And that year, I kid you not, I went to 11 funerals. 11.
So, this dress has a lot of memories for me. I detest the thought of ever wearing it again, but it's equally heart-wrenching to think of throwing it away because there's so many times when it was the thing I was wearing the last time I saw someone. Was that too heavy for this channel? That was too heavy for this. I'm sorry, guys. I'll think of something funny to say now so that you can forget about that part. What is the letter T's favorite sport? T-ball.
Okay, how about this one? Why does the Pope always wear a dress? Because God wears the pants in his marriage. Anyway, around the time I put all my pants away, suddenly
I heard a rustling on the porch and I thought I had company, so I excitedly opened up the door. Hi, baby possum. No, don't run away.
Now, as much as I enjoy the intrigue of a possum dwelling in my yard, they do occasionally prey upon chickens and ducks, so I set out a harmless live trap on my porch. And while patiently waiting for him to choose to enter it, I asked Instagram for cleaning suggestions.
Burn it all. Don't think twice. Throw stuff away. One certified internet user suggested to eliminate everything you have that is not useful. But I've got a big problem with this because I can think of one very important thing that is not useful. Art. Don't think twice. If clothes still have a tag on it, get rid of them. What? I keep tags on like everything though. If I go to Salvation Army and something still has a tag on it, I'm gonna get it even if I don't want it. And then I'll keep that and the Salvation Army tag on it. This flat iron, $1.99 at Goodwill. One person said, do what I do. Hide it where you hid the body. To which I replied,
but if I put all my jewelry in the freezer, it's gonna be cold when I go to put it on.
One Instagram user gave me a piece of advice that I liked way more than the only keep it if it's useful advice. And that was only keep it if it's priceless or brings you joy. Which means I get to keep my hair lamp, my hair balls, my just plain hair. This I cut off my head. These are from hairbrushes over the years. I will find a use for them eventually. And of course, most priceless of all, my ABC gumball. Yes, I've been piling onto this thing for years now. It should actually be way bigger. Now that I mentioned that, it's kind of unimpressive. Now, keeping only what is priceless would mean getting rid of everything that is the opposite of priceless, such as that would be priceful. So, what is the most expensive thing in my room? Probably that space heater. This was super expensive. Bye-bye. Oh crap, I broke my TARDIS. This comb is relatively useless because it is missing so many teeth, but that is kind of the reason I keep it around because it reminds me of my grandpa because like he's missing so many teeth. Or sorry, was missing so many teeth. I don't have any grandparents left. This, I hate this. This is ugly. Okay, why would you put a rose on your shoe? That's just inviting bees and wasps and other carnivorous insects to colonize your foot. But alas, I cannot get rid of it because this has been my top secret hiding place for my diary for over 15 years now, and no one's figured it out yet. So take that, 9-year-old Courtney. Now you know. I don't think I've opened this since I was 16. These are the markers I used to make little streaks in my hair with. Price tag. Thank you. Next. This was the bonnet that my first son, this was just a bonnet I had for no reason. I have no babies. This is a glasses case. I've been looking for that for 6 years now. Dear Micarah, here are some tips for when you're a parent that I dare you to live by. Don't get mad at your kids before they're 13. Regardless of their age, lay their pajamas out for them on their bed every once in a while. Who are you married to? Oh, so this was a little novel about an underground future world. Very original. A girl named Metro, a wealthy 11-year-old girl, lived in the future where the world was a very different place. She took her hoverboard everywhere. She never walked, but she was still very in shape because every evening when she came home from school, she stood in something called a workout chamber, a big machine that sent vibrations through her muscles, making her lean and strong without any effort. Ow. I wrote so many first chapters of novels from the time I was like 8 till still. Here's another partial story. I estimate this one around the age of 12. Jaya was an Egyptian spy in India. She wasn't on a mission though. Well, not an official one anyways. Technically she was on vacation, but she had a personal mission, to become a princess. Later on there's a character named Hunka. Oh, this is an interview that I did with my cousin when we were like 8. What job would you least like to have? Health inspector. He's not a health inspector now. What job would you most like to have? Pharmacist. He's not a pharmacist either. If you had to marry one celebrity, which would it be? He said Shirley Temple. All right there, buddy. Oh my gosh, so I just found this song that I remember writing when I was 13. It was supposed to be for a musical about an old couple who one of them had Alzheimer's. And I'm not going to sing the song to you because this video has already been a little too heavy. I used to be obsessed with diaries that had locks because I was super secretive, but I could never remember where I put the keys. Here's the beginning of a letter. Dear Ashley, I have to say that I was quite disturbed. I couldn't even finish my letters.
8-year-old Micarah's fashion design skills were peak. This is a paper describing me for this modeling competition I was in when I was younger.
And the best part is, that's not a picture of me. I have no idea who that is, but it is most assuredly not I. There was a span of time in my life where people just knew that I liked saving hairs, so when they got haircuts, they'd give them to me, which you think it's weird, but in the Victorian era, that was a very normal thing for friends to do. So this means a lot to me, and I'm not going to throw it away. even if I can't remember whose it was. So I used to be obsessed with playing Charlie's Angels / Spies. Good luck getting this bomb defused. I just duct taped some batteries together and an aux cord. I'm sure someone was looking for this. As little, this Barbie dress was the jam. I always pictured myself being an adult wearing this. Yikes. So this was my very first makeup kit that my mom gave me when I was 11. That was about the age in my family you were kind of expected to start wearing makeup, and I really loved it. This saw me through a lot of awkward years, and it's sad to part with, but it's verging on maybe like a touch kind of undesirable. So I think this is where we say thank you next. Or was it bacon eggs? Bacon eggs. Found another shirt. Price tag. Here is pretty much all my jewelry. You know, honestly, as separate pieces, I wasn't a big fan of any of these, but all together. If you're a boy, skip to 20 seconds from now. This was given to me by a female 3 years ago for Christmas, and I tore my room apart looking for this because I lost it almost immediately afterwards because my room was just not the cleanest and easiest to find things in. Now that I found it, I might actually go to Victoria's Secret and get some stuff. I've always loved their perfume so much. Or I'm gonna check it out like every other time I've almost gone into Victoria's Secret. Yeah, I've never gotten anything from Victoria's Secret. I'm always afraid to go in there because like it's sort of like a naughty-ish store, you know? Like what if someone sees me there? I could wear a wig. Folks, we found another novel. This one was when I was about 16 and very into pretentious wordiness. I'm still into pretentious wordiness. I love words. Magdalene wore all black as she sat rigidly in near silence. Unmitigated silence, if not for the heavy ticking of the old grandfather clock. She was staring intently at a worn photograph on the wall across the room. From where she was sitting, she couldn't see it very descriptly. But no matter, she had every detail of the family portrait engraved in the deepest layer of her brain. She was certain she had looked at it at least 100,000 times. Only it was this time in particular she recognized the momentous relevancy of it. In fact, her entire lifetime prior to the day that photograph was taken was completely irrelevant. Her memories from before that time were shadowed, foggy, but her every recollection from thereon was vivid, pronounced. In fact, the memory of that day itself held a particular uncloudedness. For the first time in hours, she allowed her eyelids to close as she summoned the sights, sounds, and feelings of her long-absent past. So that's all. Next page is a drawing.
And now it's time to play
Guess what's in the trap?
where we guess what's in the trap that we set out for the possum. Is it a possum? Nope. It appears to be some sort of cat. Did you guess correctly?
He hasn't forgiven us yet. Look at him!
After dodging that bullet, I went to a Goodwill and found I don't know what it is, but I painted the handles with some $2 craft paint from Hobby Lobby. Then I painted the rest of it with some white chalk paint, and voila! While clearing out a spot for it, I found this photo of my cousin's old celebrity crush. Then I hauled it upstairs all by myself with absolutely no help. Then we fed my dad's pickup truck till its belly was nice and full with things to go to Salvation Army. Speaking of Salvation Army, that's where I found this fabric to make my valance. Up next, me making new curtains. But you won't see me making new curtains. Instead, you'll see this time-lapse that I took of the neighbors across the street while I made the curtains. I sincerely hoped they'd be more entertaining than this. Next, I realized that my valance was something Marie Antoinette would probably turn her nose up on, so I added ruching. And then after touching up the paint job on my door, it was time for another episode of
Guess what's in the trap?
What do you think it is this time? I'll give you a hint. Unlike most creatures, it only has 2 eyeballs. What a big mouse.
Oh, let's release you somewhere far away right away, okay? Open your mouth really creepily if the answer is yes. Perfect.
My niece and I took the creepy mutation of Latrexa to a distant field where it seemed reluctant to leave us.
Tip it! Run! Run for the hills!
It didn't take long for me to diagnose this rat monkey with severe camera shyness. So I asked the camera woman to stop rolling, and sure enough, the hairless-tailed squirrel ran right off into the distance.
Oh hey, it's me, Micarah. Just kidding, it's actually me, Micarah. Let's go perform a heist. We're going to steal a mirror from a different room of the house and see if my dad ever even notices. So this is about hi, I'm Vogue. Ready for 72 questions?
1. What
Camera.
name is yours?
My name
Look at the camera.
is Mark.
What is your favorite animal?
Rhinoceros.
You gotta keep eye contact with the camera. Yeah, I don't feel like he's cut out for this. Let's go.
What was this all about?
Let's go.
The mission was a roaring success. My father never realized that the mirror was gone or where the mirror in my room came from, and to this day he still occasionally asks me, so what was that 72 questions thing about? Here you'll see me painting various candles in my room, and next you'll see my nephew trying to get up the nerve to kiss a puppy.
That's time.
Come on.
I procured this curtain panel at Hobby Lobby in the clearance section for $2.50, and then I used it as a bed skirt. And because I got so trigger happy with the staple gun, I neglected to first iron the bed skirt. So I used a pillow to complete that action post-staple. Now be not confused, the one on the floor ironing is indeed me. The one on my bed with the shirt that says Micarah is actually Micah, my brother. The next day I did nothing on my room because it was a holiday.
We are in Toledo, Ohio, and we're doing our annual Christmas Eve, and we're going to try to follow the tradition where we go sing carols to old people at a nursing home. Last year didn't go so well. We tried to find a nursing home, accidentally went to an insane asylum.
It was a nursing home.
A nursing home full of young people who made death threats and walked around naked.
Oh yeah, okay.
Point is, they weren't as appreciative as the elderly. So hopefully we end up at an actual nursing home.
This structure was indeed inhabited by genuine elderly people. The experience was lovely, we were mostly appreciated, and this year there were no death threats, though I must note, next year we need to remember not to come while the Price is Right is on. I also realized some of the older people didn't even realize that it was Christmas time, so if you want to brighten their days, you can go Christmas caroling any time of year, really. After this, we caroled a little more in a grocery store lobby, where we met a very serious cop. Then it was Christmas Eve, and boy was it foggy. I don't know if that was just Ohio or if it was everywhere. Let me know if you recall.
It is so foggy. Doesn't Mother Nature know that vaping is irresponsible?
Then it was Christmas Day. Now, I'm about as Grinchy a Grinch as they come, but this Christmas really started out on the right foot when I woke up to Tonto on my stomach. A few more blinks and I realized Father was there too.
Merry Christmas.
Back to my room, I painted almost everything in sight with that cheap craft paint. Then I found this huge gold frame for $7.99 clearance at Hobby Lobby and painted it with chalk paint. There was a specific painting I had in mind that I desperately wanted in that frame, so I found the picture on Google and then edited the colors to fit my color scheme. Then I took a picture of that picture, but then, after realizing that my Polaroid camera can't print things in poster size, I sent it over to Vistaprint. They charged me a whopping $20, but I dare say it was worth it. I used double-sided tape to mount my glamorously expensive swinging lady to a piece of $2 poster board. Then I had Bezelda run over it to smooth out any wrinkles. Just kidding, she did that of her own volition. Then I hot glued that whole mess into the frame. Then I got a new, less priceful space heater and painted it white.
Now to replace all the dresser knobs, get a dad and a friend named Josh, and just lay down while they work. Did you write that song?
Yeah.
Happy New Year!
Ho, ho, ho. Happy New Year.
Quick break from the bedroom because we have to go shopping and get some things for the bedroom. Some organizing things. $1. Why is everything so expensive here? Last time I checked, it was the 20s. We found something fun. This was in my drawer. It obviously fell out of some of my old work pants from when I worked at a craft store. This was my 2 weeks notice. I carried it around for months, never knowing when I would get the nerve to hand it in, until eventually I just lost it. But let me read you what it said. This is my official 2 weeks notice. The only explanation I can give is this. Since working here at this always standing job, I've noticed a few small purple spider veins slowly present themselves on my upper thighs. I've done fairly well at ignoring this in spite of some comments made by some friends. Tonight, however, a woman came to the fabric department and my life changed just a little. She was wearing a sporty t-shirt, sporty shoes, and most notably some rather short shorts. Her legs, despite her obvious old age, were completely devoid of spider veins. I wanted to be like her.
But since that letter got lost in my dresser, I ended up giving a "so sorry for your loss" card when the time finally came.
Now, just for the finishing touches. Time to take out the trash. Hi, I hope you weren't too attached to the headscarf that was on my head because this little baby sucked it right off. Well, hello, I wasn't expecting company. Have you come to watch me dance? Have you come to see my bedroom? And a little bit of dancing? Alright, well, come on in. Gee, I wasn't expecting company. I didn't clean. I'm just kidding, I cleaned the whole dang room. Look how spotless it is. You like my painting? I don't want any attention on me, of course, so I had to put up a big painting to distract from me. This is you can figure it out. That's a Barbie. That's a Barbie. That's a plaque. Oh, come over here. You'll like this. This is my bed. This is my armoire. It makes me think I'm at a therapist's office. I wish. This is my wedding dress I made out of diapers when I married no one. That's all. As you can see, I spend a lot of time cleaning. I actually just threw everything under my bed.